So this transfer window, it's much harder than I thought it'd be. Hello then, folks. Welcome back to another episode. Oh, there it is. The game's arrived. A little bit late there, Football Manager. I mean, turn up on time, for heaven's sake. Welcome back then to another video with me, DoctorBenjyFM. Call me Ben. Are we friends at this point? I feel like we probably are. I feel like if you've watched enough of these videos, if you've watched over 100 videos on the channel, consider yourself a friend, all right? You're not a viewer anymore. You're a friend. You've moved up. Just in my life, though. And I don't know about it yet. So tell me if you're a friend. If you don't want to be considered a friend... Oh, what a waste of our time this has been. Now, the 442 still exists. The championship table is set. And today we're going to talk through our early window business, right? Well, the 21st of July, we actually have 10 days until our first game that we're going to play tomorrow, as well as the rest of the... I'll say our first game, actually. We might play our way into the season a little bit, because in August, you play a lot of games in August. You even play one in July as things stand in 2038, which is ridiculous. A lot of matches to play, same as every season, but still a lot. You can see, drawing against Betis, we win against Hartlepool and AFC Wimbledon. If we could beat Dundee, what a pre-season it's been, viewers, as we're warming up. We're tuning up for the season ahead. Now, let's look into the transfer centre then. The transfer history is where we're going to begin, and the released players that are no longer with us, that have spent some time with us for an awful long time. There are some names there that are going to immediately make you sad. I'm looking at you, Royston Canon. I had dreams for you, mate. I had a holiday booked, but no, he's left us. McManus, Tete, and Kean, I think it's Kean Carroll has left us as well. The other names will be less familiar to, I assume. But yeah, Carroll's probably the one that is a little bit like a, well, I guess your time here is over now. And of course, Royston Canon. They're just, basically, it goes for all these players. They're just not quite at the level that is required right now in the championship. I guess the closest to that is probably McManus, who could probably still do a job as a backup, and who knows, maybe we'll sign him again. But he was on a lot of money for me. I thought, you're not really playing for me, might as well move you on and bring in some new names. So that is what we did. We brought in some new names. Now, so far, you can see that we have brought in 6 players, but the big first bit of news, and I could not be happier with this bit of news really, is that John Solomon, the man who was top goal scorer in the league last year, had 33 goals the year before, you can see a superstar for us really, is back again for another season, and that's what we're talking about as I turn the fan off. You're very loud today, fan. We're going to have to have words. So he's back. We are now, I feel like, at least we've got a plan for this season. Him and Below, I think they deserve the chance, at least, to have another time up front together. I'm pretty sure I played Below and Solomon that way round when they were successful in League One. I can't really remember. But Below, of course, had this big injury last season. Only played 16 games last year, 8 goals. By all accounts, it's not too bad, really, after, a huge injury that missed like 5 months of the season. So hopefully this year we see a lot more of him. They can rekindle that partnership. I still think he's good enough to be a decent championship striker. Of course, we've brought in reinforcements and are still looking to do so. And again, we'll talk about the deals that we have right now in the transfer oven, we'll call it. But let's talk through the signings that we've already made then, as we bring you back to the transfer history screen. Now, John Smith, we kick things off with. It's a classic English or Scottish name, I should say. Currently out with blisters, so he's already in my bad books. Not enough of a reason to have an injury of any sort. You can see there, then, physically, not necessarily as he probably once was. He's getting a little bit older now, 30 years of age, but still pretty good. But I know what your eyes are drawn to. Me too. The composure, the finishing ability, the off the ball. Dribbling is a little lower than I like it to be. I think dribbling's quite important in Football Manager, and he doesn't quite have it. But has had a pretty pathetic career when you look at it. I wonder if the Championship is where he's going to maybe fine-tune some of the things he's been doing. He's not really played enough to me. It suggests there's been a distinct lack of consistency with him. In the last couple of seasons, he's played a little more, but even last year, 6 starts, 6 goals. It's not terrible, and that's the role I'm sort of going to deploy him in. Off the bench, late in games, we need a winner. Maybe John Smith is the man to finish that off. Was capped at under 21 level for Scotland, never made it to the national team. You've got to think in another world, in another life with a different manager. You may well have done. So, John Smith, welcome to the side. Can play on the right-hand side. We won't use him there, but definitely through the middle. Next up, Ethan Reese. Now, Ethan Reese is a man that I've had my eye on for so long. He's been at Cardiff Met Uni since he was released by Arsenal. He's a player I tried to sign at one stage. Cardiff Met Uni have some really good, weird players, like the Welsh division. I mean, this is where it's going to screw me over. Have some players that are far better not an example. We'll move on. Basically, some players exist in the Welsh division that are far better than the Welsh division, and this man has been there for, as you've seen, like 6 years. He definitely could have played at a higher level. We pick him up sort of as a backup, but I could definitely see him starting for me at some stage. The current ability and the star ratings I'm going to ignore, because I think what he's offering on the pitch, hopefully, with that work rate, with that tackling ability, right? He's got good enough jumping, reaching, heading for this level of football. It wouldn't be good enough in the Premier League, it's worth saying, but at sort of lower, sort of mid-table championship level, it's not too bad, especially as sort of a backup to what I think we're going to use this year. Next up, Anthony Cook. Now, Anthony Cook from Middlesbrough, what a player this looks like. I mean, again, that fantastic passing ability, the teamwork of 17. He comes into our side. I think we've got ourselves a player here. I think he's going to be really, really good. Gets forward whenever possibles. Tries long-range passing. Talking's very difficult. It's the jacket. I see myself in it, and I think, blimey, you are sparkling, Ben. An incredibly well-rounded midfielder, though. I think we're going to get a lot of love for this man and from this man. So, Anthony Cook, welcome to the side. So far, I think we're doing okay. Things start to escalate a little bit now. As Axel Jakobsen comes in, the Faroese. I know you weren't expecting that, were you? A Faroese international. We've picked him up basically 2.8k. He's been released by Hibernian. I don't know if he's any good or not. I've got no idea. I've taken a bit of a gamble with him. Again, international standard player. Good first touch, good passing, can play through the middle in an attacking role, could play as a playmaker. Centrally, could play out on the left-hand side as a winger. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I've got absolutely no idea. But I saw him available. I thought, we'll pick him up. We might be able to recycle him, sell him on for $500,000, something like that one day. Or never play him, sell him on in 2 years, or release him in 2 years and forget we ever signed him. I don't know what we're going to do with him, but interesting, very interesting player. All right, David Lloyd. Now this is the star player right now. Of course, Andrew Reid has been here for a time, and Lloyd is very much in the mould of that player. Fantastic technique. The physicals are phenomenal. Good enough crossing, good enough dribbling, 19 years of age. This is a man I expect to develop here at Thames, playing almost every single game for me this season. We've got him from Liverpool. We're paying quite a lot to have him for a season, but I think I think the physical ability is deadly. I think it can cause so many teams so many problems, and the work rate is good enough for me. If he's going to play that right-sided winger role, there is this element of you do have to get back occasionally and help defend, and that work rate will hopefully allow him to do just that. But yeah, of course, we're going to look for him to be an absolute dynamite going forward. That's the idea, an absolute dynamite. And finally, Paul West at right back, the man that's going to play just behind him, on loan from Burnley. Some nice passing, marking, tackling attributes. Again, physically looks pretty good, mentally all there as well. So I think we're pretty happy with him. Again, not necessarily as good going forward, but you've seen the man in front of him. He doesn't necessarily have to be. So those are our additions so far. I don't know what you're thinking, Ben. Where are the rest of them? You've not really done enough business. And then you're right, the squad right now is quite small with 10 days to go. And as I said at the start of the video, it's been quite challenging. Financially, we didn't have a lot of transfer budget to spend. We've still got a little bit there to have our committed spending right now, if you include the players that I'm trying to get in, and I'll talk through a few of those. And then obviously next episode, we'll see if we actually get them. George Heath at right back, some right back cover. I think it's obvious that we need some more. Trying to get him on the cheap from Dundee. 30 grand, he's going to cost me £2 a week on the contract. Boring midfielders. Charlie Waite is one of those players that I think has to come in. We are lacking a player like this right now to be that defensive unit. And when I show you the 11 right now that is predicted, and I show you the season preview, you're going to see that we need a lot more bodies in this size. In front of them, below them, Alexander Landaverde. Now, this is another one of these players. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he's 25 years of age. He's got 85 international caps. There's something about him that just makes me quite excited. So, look, if he comes in and he's fantastic, he's been playing in El Salvador, that's where all the good players play. This is a very me signing. Good passing, good technique, good decision making, good corners. There's things to like there. Next up, we've got Logan Oldcroft, who is going to play on the left-hand side. This is sort of a crucial signing. I don't have a really good left winger right now. I'm putting all my hopes and dreams onto this man from Everton. Much like David Lloyd on the other side, we're having to pay Everton a little bit. So 2 Merseyside lads are going to come in and hopefully settle us down a little bit and give us a plan for next season, because without these 2 players, we are in trouble. Fortunately, we've already got one of them. And Lloyd Reese is the other one. Free transfer right now. Welsh, capped under 20 level. Very, very quick. Great agility. Good composure. Lacking lots of other things, but that dribbling, that finishing, he reminds me most of all of Philip Olkanainen. So, yeah, if we get another version of him, I'll be quite happy. So team-wise, we're not in, it's fair to say, we're not in the strongest position, right? And this video is very much an update video on the way the transfer window is happening. And based upon what the odds are saying, again, whether we care about the odds or not, I don't know. 300 to 1. We're quite low down the pecking order. Of course, sides that have just been relegated, Sheffield United, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, they're quite good. I mean, this team is literally just an entire team almost of Sheffield United players. Mickey plays in this division. He looks like, yeah, he looks like a Premier League player. It's not really fair. Zanini up front. He looks like a Premier League player. It's not really fair. I've just gone through my additions. I've still got like a better League One level side. The interesting thing that's happened so far in this summer, I've spent most of the money on improving our facilities, which might be a foolish decision when you can see that 700 grand is in the balance books, but I don't necessarily think that's particularly good. A lot of that is coming from season tickets right now that we are selling like hotcakes, viewers, if you have to though, which you do. So yeah, we are short of maybe players. I don't necessarily think we're short of quality. There are, of course, still some glaring issues in this side, issues that if we don't fix them, right, if we don't get this extra ball midfielder in, if we don't get the left-sided player in, if we don't get another striker in, right, there are still these issues. I mentioned improving the back line this summer. I think we kind of have done that. I think goalkeeper-wise, Doherty at 21 is improving, and I think I'm making the decision that this season I'm going to give him that final year. That if he like, he's having decent years, right? 15 clean sheets, 10 clean sheets. It's not bad, but it has to go up a little bit of a level. Like, I need to see some improvement from him now. Otherwise, we are going to have to think about getting someone new in. I've just realised now I've got to get a backup goalkeeper in. Completely gone over my head until right now. The back two of Troy Fleet, who again, by all accounts, is a pretty solid defender, and Simeon Packham should be enough. Definitely to survive in this division, but whether is it enough to thrive in this division, and that's the big question. Again, we've got Reese as a backup option. We're probably looking at a few other options as well. Paul West can play centrally if we absolutely had to have him there. He's similar to Cook last season, I'm sure you remember. And Magal at left back, like I still think is probably one of the best left backs in the division, right? Especially those physical attributes. So we're set quite nicely. Like again, Cook in the middle. I'm not overly concerned. I think we've got the firepower, which is important. I think having Lloyd on one side and having, as his name escapes me, Aldcroft on the other side, that'll give us a real emphasis of like where we're going in the future of this team. As you can see, offers have just been accepted for him. Fortunately for me, hopefully they come true. I've set my ambitions and my targets to not just fight relegation, but to be clear of relegation. I'm not that concerned about it, if I'm being honest. I think we stand ourselves in good stead to definitely be a mid-table side again. It's just a case of, can we sneak into the playoffs? What we need is Premier League money. That changes the game. Like, my ability to turn a lower Premier League team into an upper Premier League side in 3 or 4 years is pretty good. But I can't do that until I'm there, and getting there is going to be a problem. As George Heath, my backup right back, now wants more money. Are you kidding me? And this guy from El Salvador wants Salvadorian. I've never had a Salvadoran player ever in my life. I mean, this is probably why I'm signing him. Some other players that are getting through. Do I offer this guy more money to be a backup right back? I mean, again, we sort of need the players. That's the problem. I'll go to 2.2. He wants 2.4. 2.3. Is there any room to... There was some minor room to negotiate. He wanted 400 quid more. There were other things there. Oh, okay. It was just like that, was it? There was literally just trying to get a little bit more money out of me. Well, we need a backup right back, so he's in. Another signing in the van. And now it's a case of, do we get these loan boys in? Again, we've got about 10 days until our next game, or our first game of the season. The 11 that we've got right now, as long as we get Aldcroft in at left-sided midfield, I'm happy. My biggest concern there, as I declined that press conference, is that he doesn't want to join because he doesn't rate us, basically. There's been a few instances this season where players that I've had bids accepted for then haven't wanted to come and play for me. I bring you to Chelsea, of course, my senior affiliate right now. Charlie Tempest is a player that I really wanted to bring in, but they just wouldn't let me have him. Of course, Jake Champion is a player that we had last season. If we try and make a move for him, they're not willing to let him go. Charlie Tempest, if we try and make a move for him, they're saying that's fine, have him for free. They accept, and then when it comes down to it, he will say no. So, yeah, we're in this sort of constant, okay, he's literally gone immediately to Swansea. We put a very late bid in to loan him, and yeah, rejected us. I went to Swansea, who I think were promoted. Oh no, they're in our division. That's because I thought they were promoted, but no. I just noticed we're top of the league right now. Just keep it like this. You know, simple, isn't it? Alphabetical reasons are good enough as Lloyd Reese, we've missed out on Lloyd. Okay, okay, this is just depressing. Oldcroft has rejected the loan offer from Everton, so that's absolute heartbreak. We'll make him a star player instead and see if he wants to come as a star player. He might come later in the window. One of these things that if he's not getting a move. My El Salvadorian player hasn't got a work permit, so that's cancelled. And I've missed out on Lloyd Reese, who was the one good free transfer on the market. I'll see you next time for a transfer. That's great. I'll see you next time for a transfer update. I need to go back to the drawing boards. This is a disaster. Well, you know. So, thanks for watching, everyone. This was the update. See you tomorrow when I've got more update. I can't believe it.